back the dawn. Let's keep it burning. Let's keep the flame of hope alive. Make safe the journey through the storm. One planet is turning, circle on her path around the sun. Earth Mother is calling her children. Light is returning, even though this is the darkest hour. No one can hold back the dawn. Let's keep it burning. Let's keep that flame of hope alive. Make safe our journey through the storm. One planet is turning, circle on her path around the sun. Earth Mother is calling her children home. Light is turning. Light is returning, even though this is the darkest hour. No one can hold back the dawn. Let's keep it burning. Let's keep the flame of hope alive. Make safe our journey through the storm. One planet is turning, circle on her path around the sun. Earth Mother is calling her children home. Light is returning, even though this is the darkest hour. No one can hold back the dawn. Back the dawn. Back the dawn. Back the dawn.
Best friends, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. The light is returning, and it's strengthening and strengthening with each day. Notwithstanding what we witnessed this week, notwithstanding the violation of the sacred space of the Capitol this week, notwithstanding the ugliness and the horrors that we as individuals and as a community lay witness to, notwithstanding the lamentation, the sense of Eicha, how could it be, of Yado Paras Tsa'ar, the foe has laid hands on everything dear to us. In this space, could they really bring such sacrilege into Mikdash Adonai, into the sanctuary of justice and peace and the people? No one can hold back the dawn. The light is returning. The light is strong and strengthening. On a week where we celebrate the election of an African-American man and a Jew in the seat, in the heart of white supremacy in the South for the first time ever. On that week, the light is returning, and no one can hold back the dawn. Our Shabbat comes each and every week. It has come in safety and in danger. It has come on high moments and low moments. It has come to offer each and every one of us a place to rest, a place to find sanctuary. And on a week where the contrast could not be starker, where elected officials were hiding afraid for their own lives. We affirm again tonight, as we do each and every week, the power of Ufros Aleinu Sukat Shlomecha, this deep yearning that each and every one of us has to build a world of peace and to fight for a world where there will be peace for all. So now, just to take a breath, everyone, as Chazan Basia will take us into this evening's Friday night service, this evening's Shabbat service, the power of Higalena, reveal. Remember, each and every one of you, the space of connection, of sanctuary, of safety, and hope for that, for the world. Send it out to this nation at this moment in the world now, so deeply in need of shalom.
Gale, 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 no. Froze, froze, Chavivi alai, Zukat, Zukat, Shlomecha. Gale, 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 froze, froze, Chavivi alai, Zukat, Zukat, Habibi Alaya Yeshua,
Please rise if you're able, move your body. Feel your feet and your body rooted in the ground. Feel God's energy moving you around. Hey, hey, oh. Psalm 29.
Mizmor leDavid, Havul Adonai b'nei Elim, Havul Adonai, Kavod va'oz Adam b'yai, Havul Adonai, Ke'ot shemo ishtachavu l'Adonai v'hadrat kol
So I invite you, everyone, if your eyes are not already closed and you feel comfortable closing your eyes, please close your eyes and bring your gentle awareness to your body, the most immediate experience of sensation. Maybe just feeling not the idea of your body sitting, but the felt sense of sitting and what that feels like in your body. Noticing, if you will, the strength and the support of the chair or the sofa or wherever you're sitting. If you're standing, maybe just noticing the solidity of the ground beneath you. On this Shabbat of take off our shoes, where Moses encounters the theophany, the divine revelation within a burning bush, and is told to remove his shoes. Feel the solidity of the ground that is right here beneath your feet. And without any effort. And also notice maybe any feelings that you might have brought with you tonight, ranging from relief, joy, to sadness, grief, fear, anger, whatever is present for you, just notice it. In the last minute, just in bringing awareness to stopping whatever you're doing. If you're cooking, if you're whatever you're doing, just stop for 1 minute of stopping. And if awareness can be precise enough just to notice the quality of your breath, what part of the body is moving when breath is going in, and what part of the body is moving when breath is leaving the body, just to notice this basic felt sense of aliveness. I invite you to take one beautiful, easy, but deep breath into your body, And if you feel comfortable, maybe on the exhale, going, breathing in, one more breath. And if you feel like opening your eyes as we hear this evening's, the Shabbat's poem, or keeping them closed and just listening as our rabbinic intern Maya shares her original poem with us tonight.
Shifra Pua Yocheved Miriam Batya. Their hands are the waters splitting open to make way, to receive, to pull freedom forth from the womb where brothers wrestle. Their names form the contours of contraction in the sounds and shapes of the letters. A story emerges to answer God's question, where is your brother? A new king rises, but the legacy of family bloodshed, of not caring, of not keeping, is released. Even as brick by brick, pyramids rise and tears fall to tell a tale of oppression, mothers and midwives softly step, running the length of the Nile to give birth to a new way. Shifra, the sound of shofar blaring, waking us up to pu'ah, the cry, the whine. The primal scream bursting from burdened bodies made heavy, Yocheved, by the 400 years and all that came after. Miriam rises up to watch over the storied Savior, saving him from the waters made bitter from the blood of her brothers. Her rebellion, one of righteousness, to bring us home. Batya, bring us home, bring us home, bring us home to the face of God. Once the pains of labor subside, Moshiach will kiss us softly on the heads. She will care and she will keep and she will ask, have you had enough to eat? I invite you now as we open up the chat to answer, what will it feel like when we are home? Love, surrounded by love and safety, peace. Home is here right now with you all. Whole, unity, free, peace. All people will be safe at last, regardless of religion, gender, race, relief, joy and laughter from the belly and in the whole body, warm and safe, seen and heard. Freedom, oneness. Stable, warm bread for all in their warm, free housing, comfort, respect, and dignity, complete, very fulfilling. Guests, justice, even at home will we ever be fully safe. I bless us all with safety. If we can come home just tonight for Shabbos.
We live in this home too, with these words, with these melodies, and with these verses that point us towards not arriving yet, but towards Yodi, the beloved, towards home.
Gewennanigem, wie Sod, was David hat gespielt vor Gott, nur dir knows nicht gewinn, also Yeshua. Wir singt azoi, afa asola, mishaberach, hype da kol, der Dolle Meilech, weep da Hallelujah. Lecha Dodi, לקראת קלה, פני שבס, נקב לה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. שמו תפארת ולתהילה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקב לו לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקב
לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, אורך ברכה מראש מקדם נשוכה. מחשבה תחילה לך דודי לקראת קלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. מקדש מלך עיר מלוכך ומצעים כוכבך, רב לך שבס בעמק הבכה. יחמול עלייך חמלה, לך דודי לקראת קלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. דודי לקראת קלה, שבת נקבלה.
Dorari, nari me'afar kumi, livshi bigdei tifartechami, el yad ben Yishai, salachmi. Korval nafshi ge'ala, lecha dodi likras kala, penei shabbat nekavila. Lecha dodi לקראת קלה, פני שבס נקבלה. התעוררי, כי בא אורך, קומי אורי, אורי דברי. כבוד אדוני אלייך נגלה, לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי
Boi v'shalom, ateres v'ala, gam b'simcha u'v'tzola, tochem deyam segula, boi chala Shabbat hamalka. Hayyarai lecha dodi, hayyarai lekrat kalo, hayyarai penei Shabbat nekabilo, hayyarai lecha dodi, hayyarai lekrat kalo, hayyarai penei Shabbat. P'nei Shabbat, P'nei Shabbat, P'nei Shabbat, the face of Shabbat and the divine face of the holy, fiery, never consumed divine presence. The Kabbalah, let's receive her.
So healing in this broken world for all of those who are in our hearts and our minds this week, not only in the bigger circles of care and concern, but also in our own smaller circles and within Romemu itself, and rippling out into the broader community at a moment where COVID deaths this week reached record highs, and at a moment of deep fracture on every level. We pray for those who are in need of healing at this moment. Healer of the brokenhearted, binder of our wounds, you who count countless stars. Each light, unique, holy. Mothers and fathers, bring healing to all whom we have mentioned and seen and heard and thought of. Help us to find the words and the actions to help heal. May they be healed in body, heart, mind, and spirit. And we all say,
Amen.
blessed friends, before we look at each and every one of you in some way, just to see your faces. I wasn't expecting to be here this Shabbos. It was unexpected. I thought I'd be away for at least 4 Shabbatot, but I couldn't be without all of you and without seeing you. And in a minute, we'll be welcoming those who are here for the first time to our community. Were we in New York City, we'd be hugging you and you'd be standing up and embarrassing yourself in front of 300, 400 people and saying your name and where you're from. But Zoom is a little bit more tzanu, a little bit more modest. We're going to invite you in a couple of moments to say your name and where you're from. But a couple of resources for all of you are on the screen in front of you, curated by our wonderful staff. So tomorrow, as usual, will be our open book, our Parsha class at 9 a.m., followed by services at 10 o'clock. Register at the Romemu Cloud address. Chazan Basia, we have some stuff happening next Friday night that is connected also with Karen Goldstick. What an amazing thing. Karen, are you here? Do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Yes. Hi, everyone. Please look for your emails about home hosting. We have an amazing representation of conversations that you can participate in over Shabbat dinner on Friday, January 2nd. There we go. Our beautiful flyer by Amy Pollack. And the registration is 10 days in advance so that you can give us lots of time to pair you with the right group and get our host all in order. So please look at your emails and sign up over the weekend.
That is so thrilling. Thank you, Karen, and to everyone who helped make that possible. That is really an incredible resource for the community, especially in a moment like this, to be able to be paired with people and to have Shabbat meals, even in this Zoomified world, is really a beautiful thing. Thank you. And to Amy Pollack, too, for a wonderful flyer. Look at what we're sponsoring, Chazan Basia. Look at this. Do you see this?
It's awesome. It's a JCC New York Social Justice Film Festival, and we're co-sponsoring it from January 14th to 18th. Just see the link here, cinematters.film, and we get a discount. There's nothing better than that.
True. Getting a discount is a good thing. Social Action Committee has two programs here that we want to bring to your attention. Each and every year, our beloved community has gathered winter clothing during the difficult winter month. And so the coat drive will be happening this year. Believe it or not, the coat drive is happening. If you have any, children's coats, any of your own extra coats, hats, gloves, they have to be clean and in good condition. But bring them to the Romemu Center on January 17th from 1:30 to 4:30, which will be coinciding with the thing to the right on your screen, to the program on the right of your screen, which is our Romemu Community Kitchen, together with Mandala Cafe and our very own Daiken Nelson. That'll be on January 17th and on the 31st, both of those dates. But bring some coats and come in and make some meals. We've given out about 150 to 200 meals on each of these Sundays that we've been blessed to be able to offer many who have food insecurity issues at this time. So many. It's really very heartening and very beautiful just to come. It's safe as we make it as safe as possible. And just to wrap up food and to put into bags and to hand it to people, it's just such a mitzvah. Please, if you can do that, that would be really wonderful. I think that Maya, I think we're coming in for a landing here.
Yes. We need connection now more than ever. In addition to that amazing opportunity to be Zoom hosted and over Shabbos dinner, the Social Action Committee also is looking for volunteers. I'm sorry, the Chesed Committee is looking for volunteers. Just to be volunteer to help reach out to folks who just need it a little bit extra. We all need a helping hand right now. So reach out to chesed@romemu.org if you are a person who feels like you can do that.
And also, just thank you for that, because we do need more volunteers. And also, if you do need help, they're here to help. And we always use more helping hands, but we could always, people can let us know. I was talking to one of our two of our most incredible members who've been with us almost from the beginning of the shul, and they were relaying so many things that are going on in people's lives right now. And I said to them, how would we wouldn't know? We have to hear from people. We're trying to reach out to as many people as possible. But if you know yourself, you could use some help, or you know a friend who needs help, let us know, and we'll let our incredible volunteers connect with them in some way. Thank you for all these wonderful resources. And if you're here for the first time, we would love to invite you to let us know in the chat room, and also invite some connection through our breakout rooms with Maya, who's going to be giving us our prompt for the breakout rooms tonight. But also just to know, this is really what the essence of the next moment of our prayer service is, the Baruch Hu moment, which is a call and response. We call out, and then we hear a response. And here in these smaller, more intimate groups, we can do that as well. So, Maya.
Yes. So this week's Parsha really opens with, as I highlighted in my poem for this week, I was inspired by the women that open our Parsha with their actions, with their care, with their mothering, Shifra, Pua, Yocheved, Miriam, and Batya, who all in one way or another do care work, and really enable Moshe Rabbeinu to be Moshe Rabbeinu. And so our question for this week to call out and to respond to and to connect together in smaller groups is to think about someone whose work and whose care has delivered or helped to liberate you. Someone whose work or whose care has delivered or helped liberate you. So think on that person, those persons, as we move into smaller groups now to connect.
I know that some people, right, just got there. Just got, not everybody got to share. I hope everybody did. And if you didn't, I hope that, right, that you still feel like we were all together in that room, and pretty remarkable to hear voices, right? I know for myself, the beauty of being together in person and being able to hear someone next to you singing and harmonizing and hear their voice when you say hello. So I didn't see any people who said hello in the chat room. Were there people that here for the first time that we missed? I don't see any first timers, but you can write that in right now. That'd be great. This beautiful intention from Maya based on her remarkable poem. It's rooted in a fundamental moment in this week's Parsha that bears being lifted up for all of you. It is possibly the most important of the verses, of the many important verses that appear in this week's Wisdom Weekly. When the Torah tells us this week, as it did also back in 2016 on the very weekend of the inauguration, the very same Parsha that we will read tomorrow morning was the Parsha then. And the verse then, which was quite easy as a rabbi to sermonize on, was verse 8 of chapter 1, Vayakam melech chadash al Mitzrayim asher lo yadat Yosef. And a new king arose in Egypt who did not know Joseph. Asher lo yada et Yosef. Asher lo yada. Someone who did not know. A remarkable statement that the Midrash teases out and says, really, is it possible to be Pharaoh and to not know of the greatness of Joseph? Is it possible to not know? And answers the Midrash, if you make yourself as if you do not know, if you say, I don't know what is known, if you make the obvious into something else, if not knowing happens in this Parsha, the Parsha of oppression, the Parsha of slavery, the Parsha of our people walking into the myth of the narrow place, it begins with a not knowing which is dissonance, a cognitive blindness that undoes society, that undoes what is whole, that breaks it into pieces and makes it absolutely incomprehensible. This not knowing is a pretense to subjugating his people, a pretense to wield authority brazenly and unjustly, a pretense to hide egoic ambition and narcissistic need. It's unbelievable to imagine. Asher lo yada. The Bible teaches us that knowing, yada, to know, is something that is absolutely paramount for human evolution and human maturation. For the Torah to tell us and to signal to us that Pharaoh did not know Joseph. He didn't know Joe. He didn't know Joseph. That not knowing of Joe, that knowing of Joe becomes the underpinnings for the slavery of the Jewish people, for the suffering, for the years and years of unrequited prayer. It all begins with authority poorly wielded, cravenly wielded for dangerous ambitions. And in many ways, the answer to this not knowing is Hashomer Achi Anochi. The deepest tikkun, rectification of that not knowing, is to affirm, I am my brother, my sister's keeper, I am. Speaking of holy women like Stacey Abrams, who midwifed a remarkable victory in Georgia. Speaking of holy brothers and sisters, people who reach out day in and day out to check in on one another and to lift one another out. So as we have just come out of this Baruch Hu moment, I just want to say to each and every one of you, I really want to know you. And you say to each and every one of the people around you, I see you. The way out of the craven not knowing is to know. To not turn a blind eye, to not try to not know what is obvious right before us. Here we are. So take a look around at Mark and Don and Liliana. Take a look around at all of these people who are gathered here, each one of you. A profoundly powerful expression of the deepest Torah-idic knowing, which is you are infinitely valuable and worthy. You are the voice I long to hear. When I call out Baruch Hu, I long to hear it. And even if we can't hear it now, I know it's there. Kol achicha tzoakim, the voice of our brothers and sisters, call out to us as we Baruch Hu. Please rise if you are able in body. And as we Baruch Hu together, remembering those who cowered in fear, but also who rose in courage together to defend our liberty, to defend truth, to defend decency and civility, to defend knowing. We rise together. La da 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 la da 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 la da 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 la da 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 la da da la da da Baruch Hu es Adonai, ay da 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 da, Amen.
Ay, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed. Ay, lai, la da da la da la da la da da la da la da da. You may be seated.
חיה וקיימת אמיתים לך עלינו לעולם ועד ברוכה השכינה המרהיבה הרבים.
Avat olam beit Yisrael, Amecha Havita, whose eyes are looking at the screen now. Your eyes, the love that is manifesting universes as we speak, is that which looks through you at this moment. Your ancestors are within you, and future generations are also within you at this moment. Every cell at this moment is unwittingly often to us experiencing Avat Olam, a timeless taste of life pulsing through each and every one of us. The knower and the known are one. The witness who is watching at this moment, the beloved. And we say, Ve'avatcha, al tasir mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. Ay, 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 lai, lai. La da da na da na na da da na da na la da 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 Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. V'yohavta etz Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם והשילך בביתך ולכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לעוס על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכסבתם על מזוזות ביתך ואיש עריך והיה עם שמועם. We continue with the second paragraph of the Shema. למען ירבו ימיכם וימי בניכם על הדבר שהשבע אדוני לבוסך. ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור דבר אל בני ישראל ואמרת עליהם יעשו להם ציצית על כנפי בגדיהם לדורותם. וראיתם אותו וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני אלוהיכם אמס.
מי כמוך באלים Adonai, mi kamocha nedar bakodesh nora tehilos, osefele nora tehilos, osefele idam mamayrai, hayamalachus charau vanecha bokei ayam lifnei Moshe. Adonai melech le'olam va'ed v'nemar kifad Adonai et Yaakov go'alo mi'ad chazak mimenu Baruch atah Adonai egal Yisrael Hashira Hashira Hashira.
Aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'al Yerushalayim.
If you're able, please rise. Shamru, 57. Shamru b'nei Yisrael es ha-Shabbat la'asos es ha-Shabbat le'dorosam bris olam beini uvein b'nei Yisrael osi le'olam mishek shes yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim v'yes ha'aretz u'mayom ha'shevi'i shavas v'ayin nafash tzikadi
Hayitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. V'yalmad yivrach yirutei v'yamlech malchutei v'chai yechon uvyom echon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael b'agala uv'zman kariv v'yimeru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach Leolam leomei omaya yitbarach.
Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitzpar v'yitzromam v'yisnasei v'yishadar v'yisalev v'yisalal shemei dekudesha
Richu.
Lamine kabir chasa v'shirasa tosh bechasa v'nechemasa damiran be'alma and let us say
Amen.
We invite you all during the next few minutes of your private reflections and meditations to receive Shabbat, to use the traditional Amidah, or to just meditate upon this beautiful image that was created by Maya in honor of her poem and in honor of all of those heroines and heroes in our midst as we hold this space together.
Take off your shoes. This ground you're standing is holy. holy ground. Take off your shoes. This spot you're standing is holy ground. These words I heard in the burning bush. The place you're standing is holy ground. I heard the fiery voice speak to me. This spot you're standing is holy ground. This spot you're standing is holy ground.
Wednesday feels like an eternity ago. When I woke up that morning at about 5:30, my husband said, "Good news from Georgia." And I said to him, "You see, there is a God. There is. It was this rabbi's I told you so moment after 25 years of marriage and not being able to convince my atheist husband that there is a God. To be clear, it's not that I thought that God was literally behind the events of Georgia, but I do believe that there is something about the universe bending towards the arc of justice, which reflects a divine power, which manifests the divine forces of redemption that I believe are part of the fabric of our existence. Later in the day, watching the breach and invasion of the Capitol building, I moved into shock and horror. We all saw it, the world watched, a violent mob, shattering windows, people climbing walls. One hand had his boots up on Nancy Pelosi's desk. There were those in the mob who took selfies, proud of their invasion. And this in the people's house, the house desecrated. And now we know this was an act of terror. Bombs were planted. 5 people died on that day, including a police officer, trying to do his job without proper support. The God of redemption nowhere to be seen. But then, some hours later, members of Congress, the very people who had been terrorized, returned to the Capitol that same night, to resume counting the electoral votes from the November election, a process that leaders on both sides of the aisle said would not be derailed because of the siege. That, to me, again, revealed the redemption that is part of the fabric of existence. And there we were watching between the hope and the horror, between inspiration and despair, between the fabric of life and the terrible tearing of that fabric. It seems to me that the poles of existence right now are so extreme, the hope and the despair, the hope of a new president-elect who will be inhabiting the White House in 12 days. Count them, 12 days, and the fear of violence along the way. The hope of a vaccine and the count of people dying from COVID, over 4,000 people in the US every single day. How do we live between these two poles? As Rabbi Ingber began at the beginning of tonight's service, we keep saying to ourselves, echoing the beginning of the book of Lamentations, written after the desecration and destruction of the first temple in 586 BCE. How, Echa, how could this be? How indeed? It's right here in our Torah portion, the beginning of Exodus, in our people's sacred text, the hope and the horror, the two poles. The book begins with a threatened, all-powerful, all-fragile leader, Pharaoh, and the pain of an exploited, enslaved people. The more he tried to weaken them, the more they multiply, and the more scared he becomes. So he initiates a campaign to destroy their children, to eliminate their future and ensure his. That's when the women walk in. The women that Maya wrote her beautiful poem about. And I promise you, we did not coordinate before tonight's service. The women pave the road leading to redemption. They walk into the heart of a society that enslaves and kills babies. And they pave the way to redemption with hope. They manifest hope, and that help, well, it saves lives. This is our story. It begins with women who find hope in horror. I need these women. I think we need these women. They can, I believe, show us a path to redemption when everything looks like despair. There are two stories tonight that I want to focus on. The first is the story of the midwives, Shifra and Puah. Pharaoh, the all-powerful ruler, says to the two midwives, when you help the Hebrew women give birth, see the supporting stones, or the birth stool, some think. If he be a son, put him to death. If she be a daughter, she may live. Vayomer, bieldchen et ha'ivriot, ri'iten al ha'avanim, im benhu v'hamiten oto, v'im bati v'chaya. Pharaoh's is a strange kind of discrimination. Kill the boys because they're a physical threat. But the girls, no problem, keep them alive. His lack of recognition of female power ultimately spells his own undoing. Here's what happens. But the midwives held God in awe and did not do as the king of Egypt had spoken to them. They let the children live. Vatirena hamiyaldot et ha'elohim, v'lo asu kasher diber alehen melech Mitzrayim, v'tichiena et ha'yeladim. These women were on the side of life and the divine. They lived in awe. They gave life to children, not death. Indeed, they are the opposite of Pharaoh. Pharaoh, seeing that his command is not being followed, calls Shifra and Puah into his palace and says, why have you done this thing? You've let the children live. Madua asiten hadavar hazeh v'tichiena et hayeladim. And the midwives then tell a most beautiful lie. And the midwives said unto Pharaoh, because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women, for they are lively. Before the midwives come to them, they have given birth. Ki lo chanashim hamitzriyot ha'ivriot, ki chayot hena, v'terem tavo alehen ha'miyaledet v'yaladu. The Hebrew women are not as the Egyptians. They are chayot. They are alive. The word is used 4 times in this story. Alive, life, alive, life. Pharaoh rules over a cult of death, but the midwives are ruled by life itself. Chayot can also mean animals. Maybe Pharaoh believed their exquisite lie because it played right into his prejudices. The Hebrew women to him are not fully human. They're out of his control, like animals, representing his worst fears of chaos, a disordering of his carefully controlled universe, birth out of control. Pharaoh's plan foiled, his resolve strengthens. The all-powerful, all-fragile ruler gives up on the midwives and instead issues this edict to his people. Every son that is born you shall cast into the river, and every daughter you shall save alive. Hope born and horror intensifies. The cult of death strengthens. And then in the midst of the story in which babies are being drowned, into the heart of this death cult walk more women, daughters, the very daughters Pharaoh did not think to kill. A man of Levi marries a daughter of Levi, and she gives birth to a male child. His mother sees that the baby is good. Vatereh oto kitofu. She sees that he is good, just as God sees that the world that God created is good. At the beginning of Genesis, she has the courage to see her children as good, as her child is good, even though all around her, the ruling powers see him as a rejected other to be destroyed. And so she hides him, closets life away to save him, because it is life itself that is forbidden in the Pharaoh's realm. And when she can no longer hide him, the Midrash tells us that his cries were too loud. She places him in an ark by the reeds on the river's bank. One could only imagine a mother's pain at that moment. But in comes her older daughter, who turns horror into hope. And his sister stood afar off to know what would be done to him. V'tetatzav achoto mirachok l'de'ah ma ya'aseh lo. His sister stands and watches. She witnesses the horror unfolding. She's waiting for hope to show itself, for the right moment to step in. And what she sees is another daughter, a daughter from across enemy lines, the daughter of Pharaoh opening the ark, beholding a crying baby. And this daughter, although she is from the family of the Pharaoh, shows a deep compassion, though she understands that this is a Hebrew baby. Moses' sister sees a softening, sees compassion on the face of the daughter of Pharaoh. She steps in at that moment and provides a plan to sustain life. She tells Pharaoh's daughter, "Shall I go and call you a nurse of the Hebrew women, that she may nurse the child for you?" Oh my, what brilliance. Not only does she provide a plan for the baby's survival, she reunites her abandoned baby brother with his mother. A more brilliant plan than this, I cannot imagine. And it gets better, even better. And she said, and Pharaoh's daughter said to her, "Take this child away and nurse it for me." She says this to Moses' mother, "and I will give you your wages." And the woman took the child and nursed it. Not only does Moses' sister reunite her baby brother with her mother, she arranges things so that a Hebrew slave is paid for nursing her own child. This level of redemption we have not yet reached. And when these two stories, I want you to consider the nature of hope and horror. I confess, and I don't know if all of you feel like this, but sometimes I feel like despair is easier than hope. And the spectacle of horror, also easier than hope. Because horror at a distance, and certainly on a screen, leaves us helpless spectators. Often an outsized outrage takes us over that goes absolutely nowhere. I am at my weakest when I am a spectator sunk in despair, watching helplessly, when I feel trapped either by global events or, for that matter, in my own life. When I become a spectator, watching what sometimes feels like the dark horror of my own life as if it weren't mine, I couldn't be weaker. But hope implicates each of us. It reveals a secret that we sometimes harbor, that each of us has agency. And that agency multiplied, collective action can mean raising up a new world. It can mean the opposite of the destruction of the Capitol on Wednesday. It is the senators returning to the site of desecration to count a vote. It's what happened in Georgia. It can mean civil rights and the freedom of slaves, women and Black people voting. It means healthcare and childcare and just old plain caring for all of us, for everyone, raising up those who have been stepped on, made invisible and devalued. The voice of hope issues an invitation. Listen, it says, you can stand up to this. Yeah, you. There is possibility here, right now, to remake this world, your world, the world, create new worlds. Tonight, let's together raise a cup of hope. Let's celebrate in anticipation of redemption. Because if we do believe that, we will act like it and help usher in that redemption, that birth. Let our sacred stories help us find hope even in horror. Let's support each other, hold each other up, so we can manifest hope in the world, so we can save each other's lives, so we can save our own. Thank you.
Hashivota
Shivota
Elevavecha
Elevavecha
Adonai
Yadonai
Elohim
Dehashivota
Hashivota
Elevavecha
Elevavecha
Ki Havaya
Ki Havaya
Hi Elohim
Ki Elohim
Nemar V'Hayadonai L'Melech Al Kol Haaretz
Bayomahu Yeh Adonai Echad Ushemo
U'Shema
Ushema Echad.
On that day, Bayamahu, on that day, Umacha Adonai Dim'ami Al Kol Panim, and every tear will be wiped from every face. There are many tears this week, and tears within this community and beyond it. And so, these are the names, and please take them in as you see them on the screen. Those who are being mourned this If you are in mourning, please rise. If your custom is to stand for the mourners as they rise to recite the mourner's Kaddish, please rise at this moment if you're able. Yiskadal v'yiskadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Alma divrach chirusei v'yamlich malchusei v'chayechon v'yamechon v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'miru amen.
Amen.
Shmei Rabbah mivorach le'olam u'le'amei alma yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei dekudisha brich le'ilami nekol birchata v'shirata hush bechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'oma v'imiru
Amen.
yehi shlom Rabbah min shmaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imiru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. And let us all say amen.
Amen.
Friends, we're gonna lift up a cup of blessings. So please find your favorite becher, your favorite little cup. Fill it with some grape juice or your beverage of choice. I'm going to put into this cup of blessing some incredible people who are working behind the scenes who are not visible, who will now be visible. I think Eliza Rivka and Heather Shore are behind the scenes. Can we see you guys? There you are. And there's some people here on this full screen mode. Those are our incredible Romemu staff members. Yashikor to you, Rabbi Koller Esses, for your beautiful Devar tonight, to Chazan Shechter for your beautiful davening together with Maya Zinkau, our rabbinic intern, and your beautiful tefillah and your beautiful poem this evening. All so wonderful. These are all the other amazing people who are not always here in front of the bima or of the zima and the zuma. Here they are. And into this cup of blessing, all of you, as we turn to Kiddush tonight. You know, Rabbi Diane, Rabbi Koloresis was speaking about living between the horror and the hope, and the remarkable vision of the mother of redemption, of that which births freedom and redemption, that she could see. Vateris, she saw that he was good. So I once heard a Torah from the Kutzker Rebbe. Kutzker Rebbe, one of the great Hasidic masters. I wanted to add this to my cup of blessing for all of you. And it emerges directly out of the heart of Rabbi Kolores's beautiful words. The Kutzker Rebbe, Menachem Mendel Morgenstern, came to the verse where it says that the daughter of Pharaoh, right? The daughter of the worst enemy, right? The daughter of the one who killed the Jews. And the daughter, she saw this baby, and Vatishlachet amata, and she sent out her maidservant, it says in the Torah. And the rabbis come along and they playfully read the word amata, which means her maidservant, as amata, her arm. An arm from a cubit from the elbow to the end of the finger is called an amah. And the rabbis imagine fancifully this midrash that she sends out her arm and it stretches. She begins her arm, she throws it out there, and it goes from being this long kind of to a stretchy arm. Her arm stretches to reach out to this child. And the Kutzker Rebbe asked a very obvious question. If she saw how far away the child was from her, what business did she have to reach out her arm? What business did she have to even reach out her arm, he said. As he said, Vatishlachet amata. She sent out her arm towards something that was so far away, that was so distant from her. And a miracle happened and she could reach it. And I think for many of us, so much of what you said, Rabbi Diane, resonated for us, the sense of being so close and so far all at once. So close and so far all at once. And in those moments when it feels so far, you gave us hope tonight to keep reaching. Keep reaching. Vayer vayivoker yom hashishi, vayichulu hashamayim v'aretz v'chol tzva'am, vayichal Elohim b'yom hashvi melachto asher atzach, vayishbos b'yom hashvi mekom melachto asher atzach, vayivarech Elohim es yom hashivi v'kadesh oso, ki v'oshavas mikom melachto shabar Elohim lasos. Friends, Savri Chavirai.
I am.
Whoa, l'chaim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'tzotzav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'yahava v'ratzon nchilanu zikaron l'maasei v'reishis ki hu yom techila l'mikrei kodesh zecher l'tzias Mitzrayim kivanu v'charta V'yosanu kidashta im kol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha v'ahava v'ratzon inchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch Shemo.
Kadesh HaShabbat.
Amen.
Amen.
Shabbos, everybody. Good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos.
Shabbos.
Good Shabbos. Let-
Well, my friends, so much beautiful learning tonight that I hope that you take with you tonight, recalling those nurturing and sustaining forces in your life. Blessing you with the words of the empowerment that came through Maya's poem, and the empowerment that comes from refusing to not know what you know. and to not allow that to happen. And the beautiful images of both horror and hope, and the power of that story of being alive. All right, let's look at some people. There's beautiful, hey, 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 hey. Oh, Shelly and Jeff, Shabbos, and Joni, and Jessica, David. I missed your dramatic reading, but I watched it. It was beautiful. Shabbos, Mira, Shabbos, Karen, Shabbos, Basya. Let me hear you singing, maybe. Oh, Sadia, we need a refuah shleima for Sadia. New members, Shannon Shabbos, Annalisa, Shabbos friends. Shalom.